What if the battles you are fighting today aren't really yours, but they are echoes from another time? On July 20th, 2025, Mars, the planet of action and war, will meet the south node of karmic memory in Virgo, and the energy will be anything but subtle. The last time these two met was on October 7th of 2023, and that's a date many of you will remember for the tragic attack at a music festival in the Middle East. And that moment really marked a powerful example of how the energy of this transit can bring explosiveness and unresolved karmic tension and unconscious rage all to the surface. Now, as Mars and the South Node meet again, we may see echoes of this energy mirrored on the world stage through social unrest or military escalation or deep emotional confrontations. This transit will also have significance for your personal life. And each of you, each of you has a choice with how you will use this energy. Will you use this energy to align with your highest potential or your lowest potential? Now, even though this conjunction will not be exact until July the 20th, I really want you to be aware of this energy manifesting beginning on July 18th, going all the way through July 22nd. Now, what makes this transit with Mars in the South Node a little trickier is that we will also have a Venus square Mars transit that will occur on July 23rd, but it kind of will energetically overlap this transit as well. And so with Venus square Mars, the lower side of the transit can manifest as tension in our personal relationships and connections. And when we're talking about Mars conjunct the South Node, with this energetic setup, we are entering a highly charged window where action meets karma and will meets memory. Mars represents our drive, our passion, our instinct, how we pursue action, how we assert ourselves in the world. And the South Node symbolizes our past, not just from this lifetime, but from our soul's long journey throughout time. And it holds our default behaviors, ingrained habits, and even unresolved karmic patterns. So when these two meet, we may feel a surge of energy, but that energy is often tangled with old stories and conditioned responses or ancestral survival strategies. So, this is a transit that asks, are your actions truly present, or are they echoes from the past? And spiritually, this is an invitation to cut energetic cords and to transmute buried anger and to take conscious action that aligns with your evolving soul path, not your karmic autopilot. And psychologically, it reveals where reactivity is rooted in unmet needs or old wounding or unconscious survival mechanisms. So if you've been feeling on edge, if you've been stuck in old patterns, or like you're reacting to things more intensely than usual, this video is your roadmap. Now let's dive into what this charged transit means for you according to your rising sign. And let's learn how to turn old fire into conscious healing movement. Aries Rising. Mars, your chart ruler, will join the South Node in your sixth house of work, health, and daily responsibilities. And this will signal a karmic release around how you handle stress, how you handle obligations, and overcommitment. And this transit may also expose the ways you've been running on fumes or sacrificing your well being for productivity, or even holding on to unhealthy work patterns that no longer serve you. If you've been overworking or micromanaging or ignoring your body's signals, this transit can bring a breaking point or a breakthrough. It's time to shed outdated habits, especially those tied to perfectionism and people pleasing at work or running on autopilot in your daily routine. So this transit will provide you a powerful opportunity to let go and release any draining routines or toxic work environments, and to also address resentment toward duties that you've outgrown. You may also reset your health habits and recommit to true self care. And it's also possible, I want you to reflect on how your actions serve not just others' expectations, but your long term wellness. So, the invitation for you with this transit, Aries Rising, is to step away from doing just for the sake of doing and instead reclaim your vital energy. And remember, your worth is not tied to your output. This is also a wonderful time to release conflict patterns with coworkers or service providers or employees, especially if you've been carrying too much or giving your power away in the name of keeping the peace. For parents of Aries rising teens and young adults, this transit will activate your child's sixth house of health, habits, stress, and responsibility. And that means the pressure and the energy could feel really intense or even exhausting for them, especially if they're pushing themselves too hard or they are stuck in routines that no longer feel aligned. So your Aries rising teen may be feeling burned out. They could be feeling overwhelmed by school, sports, chores, or social expectations. And they may be getting frustrated by daily demands or pressures to do everything right. They may also be showing signs of stress related issues like disrupted sleep cycles, headaches, or even emotional reactivity. So here's how you can help them. You can encourage them to take breaks and to rest without feeling guilty. You can also help to create a space where they feel like it's safe for them to talk openly about what's stressing them out. And you, as the parent, it's also up to you to support gentle shifts in routine like better sleep hygiene, mindfulness, or even reducing screen time. And model how to say no, how to set boundaries, or to reprioritize energy. This is a powerful time for your teen to let go of people pleasing and pressure in their everyday life and to reconnect with rhythms that actually support their well being. They are learning that being busy isn't the same thing as being healthy or happy. So, remind them rest is productive too. Taurus Rising, Mars will join the South Node in your fifth house of creativity, romance, pleasure, and self expression. This transit may stir up old relationship dynamics, jealousy, competitiveness, or approval seeking, especially when it comes to love or creative pursuits. If you've been expressing yourself primarily to gain attention or validation, this is the moment to pull back and ask, am I doing this for me or am I doing this to be liked? You may also revisit past romantic situations or creative projects that now feel out of alignment with your growth. It's also a great time to reclaim passion as a form of self connection and not self promotion. So, the invitation here for you, Taurus, is to reconnect with your authentic joy and to let yourself create, allow yourself to love, and play without pressure to impress. This is about falling back in love with you. Now, for parents of Taurus rising teens or young adults, this transit will activate your teenager's fifth house of creativity, confidence, romance, and self expression. They may feel internal pressure to be liked, to stand out, or to perform perfectly, especially in social or romantic situations. Or they might retreat if they feel like they're not good enough. Old insecurities around talent, attention, or not measuring up may surface. They might seem moody or self critical or overly reactive when it comes to how they are perceived by their peers or by authority figures. So, you want to watch for signs of seeking approval through performance, looks, or likability. Also, watch for mood swings around dating or crushes. And check and see, is your teen withdrawing from hobbies they once loved? And if you notice any of these things, here's how you can help. You can create space for them to make art, music, or play without pressure. You can also reinforce their self worth outside of their grades, outside of awards or popularity. And if they're facing social drama, model how to stay grounded in their own value. At its best, this transit will help them to release comparison and reclaim joy, and let them know it's okay to create, love, or just have fun without needing a gold star. Gemini Rising. Mars will activate your fourth house of home, family, and emotional foundations, and potentially bring up buried tension from the past. You may feel unexpectedly triggered by family members or childhood memories, especially where you felt the need to keep the peace at your own expense. This is a moment to reflect on how your family history has shaped your reactions. Are you avoiding conflict just to keep the harmony? Are you carrying emotional burdens that were never yours to begin with? This is a powerful time, Gemini, to release defensiveness or avoidance in family conversations, and to also let go of guilt over overfunctioning within your family role. Gemini, you can also reclaim your emotional independence and create space for healing your inner child. And ultimately, you can reframe what home and emotional safety really mean to you. So, the invitation for this transit, Gemini, is to let go of the pressure to hold everyone together. You deserve a home life and an inner life where your truth is safe and your needs matter. And for parents of Gemini rising teens and young adults, this transit will stir your teen's fourth house. So, emotional sensitivity may be heightened, and old wounds around home or around belonging or parental dynamics may resurface. Your child may become more reactive, more withdrawn, or easily overwhelmed, especially in the home environment. And they might not say it out loud, but they're likely processing deeper emotions tied to feeling misunderstood or unheard or emotionally unsafe. So watch out for mood swings or uncharacteristic silence. Also, tension around rules, routine, or being told what to do. Also, watch out for emotional outbursts or your teen retreating into their room. And also, they may have a desire to revisit or talk about childhood memories or family history. And here's how you can help as the parent. You can offer your child a non judgmental space for them to talk or not talk, depending upon how they're feeling. And normalize big emotions and model calm emotional regulation. And don't take their withdrawal personally. It's likely just a processing period. So gently open the door to conversations about family dynamics and allow your child to have that feeling of safety, because this is a chance for them to break free from inherited emotional patterns. And your steady, accepting presence can help them find their own version of inner peace. And it's one that isn't shaped by past dysfunction. Cancer Rising. Mars will activate your third house of communication, siblings, and thought patterns. And this transit may stir up old habits around how you speak, how you argue, or avoid conflict. You may feel tempted to lash out or to shut down when challenged. But the deeper invitation is to change the way you respond. You are being asked to release reactive or manipulative communication styles that kept the peace but cost you your authenticity. There may be tension with siblings, with neighbors, or within short-term plans, especially if old resentment hasn't been addressed. But for you, Cancer, this is a powerful time to let go, release the need to over-explain or to defend or to smooth things over. You can also repattern reactive communication styles and release outdated beliefs or assumptions. It's also a great time to resolve sibling rivalry or neighborhood conflict. So, the invitation for you, Cancer, with this transit is to speak from truth, not from fear. When you change the conversation, you change the connection. Now, for parents of Cancer rising teenagers or young adults, this transit will activate your teenager's third house. So, their mental energy and communication patterns are really being reworked. But in the meantime, they may become more argumentative, more sarcastic, or withdrawn, especially if they feel unheard or misunderstood. Old peer conflicts, sibling tension, or a buildup of unspoken thoughts may come bubbling to the surface. And your child may need help learning to express themselves directly without letting frustration or fear take the wheel. So watch out for sharp words or passive aggressive comments. Also, watch out for frustration with school, with technology, or communication delays. You might also see some sibling conflict or rivalries resurfacing. If you're noticing any of those things, you can help by modeling clear, calm communication even when your teen is not engaged in that type of communication. You can also encourage journaling or voice notes to help your teen process what they're feeling. Also, help them to notice when they're avoiding confrontation out of fear, and practice setting respectful boundaries with siblings or peers. Because ultimately, they are learning how to express themselves with strength and softness. And when you hold space for honest conversations without judgment, you give them a blueprint for healthy communication. Leo Rising. Mars will activate your second house of money, self-worth, possessions, and personal values. And this transit will shine a spotlight on how you define your value and where you've been chasing validation through what you own, through what you earn, or what you present to the world. You may feel tension around finances or confront outdated beliefs about what makes you worthy. Are you overextending yourself to prove your value to others? And are you clinging to stability or appearances out of fear? This is a powerful time, Leo, for you to let go of self-worth issues tied to status, income, or productivity, and also for you to clear unhealthy spending habits rooted in emotional needs. Also, Leo, it's a great time to reclaim your sense of inner worth, regardless of outer success. So the invitation for you, Leo, is to know your value even if no one applauds. Self-worth is an inside job, and this is your chance to rebuild it on solid ground. For parents of Leo rising teenagers or young adults, this transit will activate their second house of money, of what they value, their possessions. And this is where issues of self-esteem, appearance, popularity, and performance often live. So your teenager may be questioning their value, especially if they don't feel good enough by social, academic, or appearance-based standards. You might notice them comparing themselves to others or being more sensitive about their looks or about money or possessions, or even getting frustrated if they don't feel appreciated. So we want to watch out for sudden self-doubt or body image struggles. Also watch out for overspending or obsession with material things. Your teen could also be acting out for attention or approval during this time, or avoiding challenges out of fear of failure. And if you notice any of these behaviors, here's how you can help. You can affirm your teen's value without tying it to achievements or appearance, and help them to notice when they're seeking approval rather than expressing themselves authentically, because this is a key time to help them build inner security, not just outer success. And when you reflect your child's value back to them genuinely and consistently, you help them to grow into confidence that cannot be shaken. Virgo Rising. Mars will energize your first house of self, appearance, and personal identity. And with the South Node here, you may feel an intense push to release old ways of presenting yourself, especially if those ways are tied to people pleasing, perfectionism, or hiding your true feelings to keep the peace. This transit can also bring up tension as you confront personas or roles that you've outgrown. It's time to reclaim your authenticity, even if it means shaking up how others see you. So, Virgo, for you, this is a powerful time to let go of the need to always be useful or perfect, and to release self criticism and harsh inner dialogue. And also, Virgo, to stop shaping your identity around the expectation of others. The invitation for this transit for you, Virgo, is to realize that your authentic self is your strongest self, and to stop apologizing for who you are. For parents of Virgo rising teens or young adults, your teen might struggle with anxiety about being enough, about feeling the pressure to keep everyone happy or to meet impossibly high standards. They may also mask their true feelings to avoid conflict or rejection. You may notice them being unusually critical of themselves or others, or simply withdrawing to avoid making waves. You want to watch out for overthinking and self doubt, and also watch and see if your teen is displaying perfectionism and a reluctance to take risks. Also, they may be excessively apologizing or displaying people pleasing behaviors. And here's how you can help if you notice any of those types of behaviors. You can encourage honest self expression, even if it's messy or imperfect. You can also model healthy boundary setting and self compassion, because this transit is a chance for your teenager to shed a mask that they might be wearing and to become their real self. And your patient and loving support can make all the difference. Libra Rising. Mars will conjunct the South Node in your 12th house of the subconscious, hidden fears, and karmic baggage. And you may feel a surge of old emotional wounds, self sabotaging behaviors, or unconscious anger coming to the surface. This transit asks you to face what's been buried and begin to heal. It's a time to release and a time to let go of avoidance and escapism or martyrdom. These patterns that once helped you but are now holding you back. And it's a very powerful time to also release hidden resentments and old emotional pain, and to also step out of victim mentality and reclaim your personal power. So, your invitation, Libra, is that healing comes when you stop running from your shadow and you embrace it with compassion. For parents of Libra rising teens or young adults, your teenager or young adult might become more introspective. They may be more withdrawn, or they might be even emotionally sensitive, and they may wrestle with feelings that they don't fully understand, or they may struggle to communicate their inner world. So, what you want to watch for during this time, you want to watch to see if your teen is moody. Or if they have a desire to isolate themselves from others, or if they are suffering from confusion or feelings of being overwhelmed because of their emotions. And they may also have a tendency to blame themselves excessively or to feel guilty. If you notice any of these, here's how you can help. You can create a calm, accepting space without pressure to talk. You can also encourage creative outlets like art, music, or writing for emotional expression, because this is a deep healing transit, and your support can help your teen to learn to trust their inner world and to move toward emotional wholeness. Scorpio Rising. Mars will energize your 11th house of friendships, groups, and social networks. And this transit highlights karmic patterns around giving too much to friends or groups, people pleasing in social settings, or holding on to toxic relationships out of obligation. You may feel driven to confront or release friendships that no longer serve your growth. The challenge is to break free without guilt or without the fear of loneliness. And this is a powerful time, Scorpio, to let go of draining or one sided friendships, and also to reclaim your energy from social obligations. Also, Scorpio, you can align with communities that reflect your authentic self. So, your invitation, Scorpio, lies on the fact that true friendship honors your limits and growth, and it's time to surround yourself with those who lift you up. And for parents of Scorpio rising teenagers or young adults, this transit will be activating their 11th house. So your teenager may be facing tension with a peer or peer group or friend groups, and they might feel pressured to fit in or to be overly responsible for other people's feelings, which could lead to them feeling burned out or withdrawing emotionally. So we want to watch for, if your teen is having conflict or drama within their friend groups. Also, watch out for social withdrawal or secrecy. If you notice these things, you can help by encouraging honest conversations about friendships and boundaries, and also by helping your child to identify friends who support them versus friends who drain them. And this transit teaches your teen the value of healthy, balanced friendships and relationships based on mutual respect and care. Sagittarius Rising. Mars will energize your 10th house of career, reputation, and public life. And this transit calls for you to really examine and release outdated professional habits, perfectionism, or people pleasing behaviors that no longer serve your growth. You might feel frustrated with the pressure to succeed or to maintain a certain image. The key is to step into leadership from authenticity, not obligation. So, this is a powerful time to let go of overworking to impress others and to release the fear of failure or rejection in your career. It's also a great time, Sagittarius, to set boundaries between work and personal life. So, the invitation for you with this transit is to lead boldly by being real, not by fitting a mold. And for those of you who are parents to a Sagittarius rising teenager or a young adult, this transit is going to activate their 10th house. So your Sag rising teen may feel overwhelmed by expectations around school, future plans, or achievements. And they might struggle with perfectionism, or they may fear disappointing family members or peers. So, what we want to watch out for in this situation, you want to watch and see if your teen is feeling anxiety about their grades or their future success, or if they are overly committed or burned out from all of their extracurricular activities. And if you notice any of these things, you can help by normalizing mistakes and learning as a natural part of growth. And you can help your teen to balance ambition with self-care, because this transit will be teaching your teen or helping your teen to develop a career path that feels aligned with who they really are, not just what others expect. Capricorn Rising, Mars will energize your ninth house of philosophy, higher education, beliefs, and travel. This transit really asks you to examine and release rigid or inherited belief systems that may be limiting your growth. You may feel challenged to question long-held opinions, cultural conditioning, or moral judgments. It's a time to open your mind and explore new perspectives and embrace intellectual humility. So, for you, I want you to let go, release dogmatic thinking or judgmental attitudes. And you can also release attachment to right or wrong beliefs. The invitation with this transit for you is that growth happens when you embrace the unknown with an open heart and mind. If you're the parent of a Capricorn rising teen or young adult, this will activate their ninth house, and your Capricorn rising teen may question their beliefs. They may rebel against cultural or family values, or they may feel restless and they may want to explore beyond their current environment. So you want to watch out for your child, your teenager, challenging authority or traditional teachings. And they might be frustrated with limits on their freedom or limits on their expression. If you notice these things, here's how you can help. You can encourage respectful questioning and exploration. You can also model open-mindedness and curiosity. This transit can really ignite your teenager's passion for growth, and it can help them to develop a broader, more flexible perspective on life. Aquarius Rising, Mars is going to activate your eighth house of shared resources, intimacy, transformation, and deep psychological patterns. And this transit with Mars conjunct the South Node is really going to ask you to confront old karmic dynamics involving control, trust, or codependency, especially in intimate relationships or financial partnerships. You may feel compelled to assert yourself or to push against boundaries that have been unclear or unhealthy. The key is to release attachment to control and reclaim your own personal sovereignty. For you, Aquarius Rising, this is a powerful time to release, to let go of power struggles, and to also heal energetic or financial entanglements that drain you. So, the invitation for you, Aquarius, with this transit is that true freedom comes from releasing what no longer serves and stepping into authentic intimacy. If you are the parent of an Aquarius rising teenager or young adult, this is going to activate their eighth house. And so your teenager may be experiencing intense emotions, secrecy, or challenges with trust, especially in close friendships or romantic relationships. They might push boundaries or they could retreat emotionally to protect themselves. So we want to watch out for mood swings or secretive behavior. We also want to watch for conflicts around money or shared possessions or shared resources. If you notice any of these things, here's how you can help. You can teach healthy ways to express anger or frustration. You can also validate your teen's need for independence while encouraging connection, because this transit can help your teenager to develop healthy emotional habits and stronger boundaries, which can lead to more authentic relationships. Pisces Rising. Mars is going to energize your seventh house of partnerships, marriage, and one-on-one relationships. So this transit with Mars conjunct the South Node will call you to release outdated relationship dynamics where you may have lost yourself in order to keep the peace or to avoid conflict. You may confront patterns of codependency, people pleasing, or passive aggressive behavior. It's time to assert your needs clearly and to create relationships based on mutual respect and balance. So, this is a powerful time for you, Pisces, to let go, release unhealthy or one sided relationships and to release resentment or unresolved conflict. So, the invitation for you with this transit is that healthy partnerships begin when you stop sacrificing your truth for approval. And if you are the parent of a Pisces rising teenager or young adult, this will activate their seventh house. And your Pisces rising teen may struggle with people pleasing, codependency, or difficulty asserting themselves in friendships or romantic relationships. They might avoid conflict or suppress their true feelings just to keep others happy. So we want to watch out for if your teen is avoiding difficult conversations or over adapting to their peers or partners. If you notice this, you can help them by encouraging honest expression of their feelings, encourage them to actually express their feelings honestly, even if they feel uncomfortable. And you can also model healthy conflict resolution and reinforce that their needs matter just as much as others. This transit will support your teen in learning to create balanced and authentic relationships where both sides feel seen and respected.